You come here often? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone here has seen a cursed image, and if you haven't seen a cursed image, what kind of goofy town are you living in, fella? If you somehow don't know what a cursed image is, it's basically something that's supposed to incite the 5 W's in a person, according to Urban Dictionary. The 5 W's being who, what, when, where, and why. Everyone in the internet has seen a cursed image. Everyone in the internet has been sent a cursed image. But where exactly did they come from? The beginning origins of the cursed image trend began in 2015 when a Tumblr account with the username cursed images surfaced from the smoke and said, "Hey, I'm about to create a new fucking trend." The first post that they posted was October 28th, 2015, and it gained 1,200 notes. Now, back in the day, Tumblr was a thing, and people actively used Tumblr, but as time went on, Tumblr died. So, generally speaking, it had to move to other platforms. So, in July of 2016, a Twitter account with the same username surfaced and started posting the exact same type of images that gave a disturbing orological aura. The account on Twitter gained 100,000, yeah, you heard it right, 1,000 followers before it stopped posting. And that is a hefty amount of followers, especially considering Twitter is one of the more difficult platforms to gain followers on. So kudos to them. There was a giant movement in about 2016 because of this Twitter account. And so news sources were reporting on it. People were talking about it. It was a big thing. And because creepypasta was starting to see the end of its day, people were like, okay, what can we do to replace these scary stories? And cursed images arrived. And they were like, hey, all you got to do is look at me, and I will incite some kind of emotional reaction out of you. Checkmate, motherfucker. So from that point forward, it kind of died down, and people were just like, haha, funny cursed image, funny thing. And that was the end of that, until the Reddit YouTubers started coming to surface. Now, what I mean is, there is a bunch of people on Reddit that decided to create a subreddit for cursed images. It's called r/cursed images, and it's big. It's on the bigger side of a subreddit. Because Reddit YouTubers were coming to fame and they needed content, they would obviously read stuff from r/nosleep or r/nice guys or r/nice girls, stuff like that. But when the text posts ran out, where did they go for content? That's right. They went to the image section, and thus the Reddit channels started migrating to reaction channels, and that's where a bunch of the cursed images came back. With the rise of Reddit and stuff like that, what made people click on the video? What makes people want to actively go search for cursed images? What makes them appealing? I mentioned this before, but cursed images are supposed to incite the 5 W's in a person. The 5 W's, if you forgot already, mean who, what, when, where, and why. From that, we can gather that the disturbing or confusing aura that these videos give off is very similar to the feeling of reading creepypastas. Now, back in the day, I say, as I'm only 18 years old, creepypastas were all the rage. People really liked creepypastas. You may remember a few of these people. I say people, but they're characters, like Jeff the Killer, Slenderman, Ben Drowned, etc. And these characters were beloved by people because they had backstories, and they could get into their heads, I guess. Kind of like the people nowadays that watch Ted Bundy documentaries on Netflix. But a lot of the people did not get into creepypasta, mostly because it required a lot of research, especially as time went on, because the original files were lost to history. It's surprisingly difficult to find a lot of the original stories that these characters came from, but with a cursed image, you don't need a story. You don't need a backstory. You don't need anything. All you need is to look at it, take in the entire image, and move on. That's what makes it appealing, because you don't have to go too far into it. The whole thing about cursed images is that they don't require a lot of thinking. They just require you to be like, what the fuck? And that's it. Which brings me to my next point. What makes a cursed image? Now, I mentioned the Urban Dictionary definition in the previous section, but let me read the full thing out to you just so you can understand what the internet defines cursed image as. A cursed image is any image that can incite the 5 W's in a person, these 5 W's being who, what, when, where, and why. Things like this missing from an image are what is supposed to make you really think, and there should be no answer. An image can have these properties but not be cursed. Now, I know that sounds a little too intense for a meme, basically, but I'm going to explain to you the common things that go on in a cursed image. The things that people, if you ask them what makes a cursed image, they would say. So like the definition says, a common one is low res and flash photography. Flash photography is not always cursed. You look at the early 2000s, people took digital cameras to parties, and those were low res and had flash, and they still are considerably not cursed, though a few of them are a little on the borderline. As any photographer will tell you, lighting is key, and those images with low lighting or just taken straight up in the dark are the ones that tend to elicit a fight or flight response. One of my favorites are the images with furries or like people in costumes, because in those you cannot tell a concrete expression because it's just a person in a costume, and oftentimes the costume does not have an expression. So if you mix that with low res, low lighting, and just mix it all together, you get something like this. And honestly, that is accursed. Furries themselves aren't necessarily cursed. I mean, a lot of them are just trying to do the thing. If you try to fuck animals, people are gonna say you're controversial. But if you're just trying to have a good time and you like anthropomorphic things, like, fucking go for it, my guy. Like, it's free country, you know? Generally speaking, the image is just supposed to make you feel unsettled. It's supposed to make you feel uneasy, disturbed, confused. Generally just like a what the fuck type image. To wrap this video up, the history of cursed images is not a particularly lengthy one, but it is one that not a lot of people are aware of. And I think that it's really cool that they have lived this long, and that we were able to make them resurface from the dark, tiny little cave that their little grabby hands have been in. It's really cool that memes can exist in any type of format, whether it be images or text or anything like that. Continue sharing these images, because sending something to your friend and having them elicit a reaction is pretty funny, especially when you're trying to just do things with the pals and then somebody sends you like a low-res, low-lighting picture of Hello Kitty in an abandoned house, and your friends are like, what the fuck is that? And you're like, it's my idol. Long story short, cursed images are cool. History is cool. If you want to know more about the history of certain things that most people may not know the history of, comment them down below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more of my face or hear more of my voice. And as always, you're loved, wanted, and appreciated. Have a good one.